started scheming to get out from under the burdens of a lousy job and dull marriage.
Welcome to CSL TV, and I just hope you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is just a review, a reaction, as well as an informational channel. Hopefully the informational part help you and someone else out. We just gonna watch some videos and talk about them. Now, if you've been rocking with your boy, I just gotta say thank you so much, because you could be watching this somewhere else if they have it, but you decide to rock with me. So with that being said, you guys have a beautiful, blessed day, and you already know. Let's get it.
This story is bizarre, and police are asking if you have any information to please say something. This is 13-year-old James Yablonsky from a small town north of Madison, Wisconsin. Almost 2 months ago, on June 12th, the 13-year-old allegedly drove off in his family's van and hasn't been seen since. And this is the crazy part. His dad says James may have taken his dad's gun and 2 survivalist books and may be trying to, quote, live off the grid. Cops tracked the boy's cell phone to a highway near a wooded area where they found the family van and cell phone abandoned the day he went missing. Investigators then found several items they believe belonged to James at a campsite at a nearby state park. If the teen is actually trying to live off the grid, he's just the latest in a string of would-be naturalists attempting to ditch modern society, which usually doesn't go so well. The most famous case like this is of 24-year-old Christopher McCandless, aka Alexander Supertramp, who after a childhood of abuse set out for parts unknown after college in the early 90s, eventually finding himself in the Alaskan wilderness. Woefully unprepared for his mission of living off the grid, his dead body was found rotting in a makeshift campsite near Denali National Park in the summer of 1992. His story, though, was told in a best-selling book, Into the Wild by John Krakauer, which was eventually made into a movie directed by Sean Penn.
Is there anybody here?
Some see McCandless as a hopeless romantic, while others see him as a terribly unprepared moron who drastically underestimated the Alaskan wilderness. Either way, it cost him his life. Back in Wisconsin, James's dad has taken out a mortgage to offer a reward for information about James's whereabouts.
It was the perfect marriage, but something unspeakable would happen to their idyllic life.
Lacey Peterson disappeared in 2002 on Christmas Eve while 8 months pregnant. In November 2002, Scott met a massage therapist.
Shout out to my guy, That Chapter, for this content. Now, this lady 8 months pregnant and disappeared. Y'all think she ran away? I don't want to think nothing bad happened, but as most of our cases and situations like this, we already know something bad probably happened.
Massage therapist named Amber Fry. The day before the last time anyone spoke to Lacey, Lacey and Scott went to Lacey's half-sister's work. While there and throughout the day, Scott made sure everybody knew he was going golfing. The next day, he went fishing at the Berkeley Marina instead, on his new 14-foot aluminium boat. A boat his family didn't know he owned. He would later tell the police the last time he saw Lacey was at 9:30 a.m. that morning, as he was heading out the door to go fishing, quote unquote. She was last seen, maybe, in the local park at about 10 a.m. walking her dog. At 10:30 a.m. a neighbor found the Peterson dog alone. Scott tried to call Lacey a few times throughout the day, but got no answer. When he got home, he found her car in the driveway, her purse still in the house. He had a hard day fishing when he didn't seem to get any fish, by the way. Came home, had a nice, tall, cool, crisp glass of milk, couple of slices of pizza, and then had a shower. He then, after doing all that, started calling friends, family members, neighbors, asking about Lacey. Just before 6 p.m. that evening, she was reported missing to the police.
She's 8 months pregnant. She took her dog for a walk in the park. The dog came home with just a leash on.
The police began to immediately question Scott Peterson. According to them, he was cool, calm, and collected. He also initially told the police he had been golfing that day, before changing his story and saying he'd been fishing. However, when the police asked what kind of fish were you fishing for, he couldn't answer. Helicopters, searchlights.
So you mean to tell me you don't know what kind of fish you was fishing for? You said you was going golfing, and you said you went fishing. You got this fucking boat nobody know about. Cops said what kind of fish were you fishing for, bud? And you don't even know. Like, bruh, bluegill, fucking catfish, snapper, trout. What is you looking for? Bass? You know what I'm saying? You fishing for little Nemo? You feel me? You looking for Dora? What are you fishing for?
Searchlights, heat sensors, Nearly everyone they knew and 900 people helped in the search in the first couple of days. A $25,000 reward was offered for information, leading to her safe return on Christmas Day. He also refused to take a polygraph, and, speaking to the police, he had a number of inconsistencies in his story. During this time, the police also placed a tracker on Scott's car. Amber Fry contacted the police. She told the police about their affair, and that Scott had told her he was a widower. She then agreed with the police.
We getting somewhere now. We heard about you in the beginning, but it's official that y'all are fucking around. All this other stuff, and he up here gloating. I mean, look at this motherfucking smile. Boy, your wife is missing. Your 8-month-old baby is missing with your wife. You got a kid already. What in the hell?
She then agreed with the police to record calls between her and Scott. When Amber Fry went public about their affair, and public opinion on innocent poor Scott Peterson swiftly changed.
I had nothing to do with Lacey's disappearance.
About 3.5 months after Lacey disappeared on April 13th, 2003, a couple walking along the San Francisco shoreline found a male fetus, the umbilical cord still attached. The next day, Lacey's body was found washed up on the rocky shoreline of the San Francisco Bay, 1 mile from where the baby was found the previous day. Almost unrecognizable. Scott Peterson was arrested on April 18th, 4 days after Lacey was found. But then they found in the car camping equipment, survival gear, $15,000 in cash, and willy-stiffening Viagra pills. On April 21st, Scott Peterson was charged with 2 felony counts of murder. He pled not guilty. His trial began on June 1st, 2004. The defense maintained someone else had kidnapped Lacey and killed her. The evidence against Scott, other than him being maybe a little squirrely after his wife disappeared, was that they found a single hair of Lacey's on a pair of pliers in Scott's boat. He also added 2 porno stations to his TV after Lacey went missing. However, the prosecution took that to mean he knew she wasn't coming back, and then combining that with the fact he was planning on selling his house and had traded in Lacey's car, well, he was therefore responsible for her death. Having a grand old time. At the trial, the Peterson housekeeper told the court she had cleaned the home on the 23rd of December using water and a pine oil-based cleaner. However, investigators found indications that different cleaning chemicals had been used on the floor. Scott met Amber at a bar, slept with her the first night, and then started scheming to get out from under the burdens of a lousy job and dull marriage, all complicated by a baba on the way. His sudden interest in saltwater fishing, when his wife and baby were found in the water or near the water, was incredibly suspicious. They also found he had been researching tides and currents in the bay. He had also fashioned at least 5 concrete anchors. On December 23rd, or the morning of the 24th, he strangled her, loaded her body into his truck, then into his boat, attached an anchor, and dumped her overboard. Sniffer dogs had previously, days after she disappeared, caught a trail at the Berkeley Marina where Scott fished the day Lacey disappeared. The trail ending at the water, and this would only be about a mile from where Lacey's body would eventually wash up. On November 12th, 2004, 31-year-old Scott Peterson was convicted of first-degree murder for Lacey Peterson and second-degree murder for his unborn son. A month later, the jury recommended the old death sentence. In 2012, Scott's defense attorney filed an appeal, alleging that Scott was denied a fair trial. As I said, many people still believe Scott Peterson is innocent. The fact that people saw Lacey after he left the house, in fact 10 people say they saw her walking her dog. There were also reports that the house across the street from the Petersons was being burgled that very morning on Christmas Eve, and that Lacey had confronted them, leading to her death. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you, as always, real soon in the next video.
Yeah, they right. They damn sure was right. He did get an unfair trial, because he was able to sit down and listen to the shit, you feel me? They should have went on and took his ass in the back, injected him, because you killed your kid. On top of that, his mom, your wife, the lady you been with, you killed them, So yeah, he was given an unfair trial. They should have fucking injected his ass as soon as they said guilty. He don't get no last meal, none of that. Because you killed a baby, bro. You killed your son.